guys, Honey50 here, bringing you My Hero Academia manga review. This was chapter 221, titled One for All Personal Gift, or Parting Gift. This was a very, very good chapter. I would have to say in a long time that I read of My Hero. This was one that I enjoyed greatly. And the world building that's leading up to this is just, it's phenomenal. I'm not sure how Horikoshi's gonna pull this off, but let's just get into it. They continue to fight that monster thing that they're fighting. We found out his name is Machina, and basically we found out that he's not just an extremely strong being. He was actually one of the guards for All for One back in the day, and he has the ability to hold multiple quirks in his body without modifications. Now, we're not sure if that means that he was born with multiple quirks, or does that mean All for One could give him multiple quirks, but they don't have to do nothing to his body so he could handle them because he's already strong enough. It could be either or, but either way, that's an incredible feat, incredible being. It was even stated that there's no way in hell they could beat this guy. Everything they're doing is failing. So if you ever remember that black stuff that was like oil that came out their bodies and swallowed them up and teleported them, when All Might was trying to capture them to see where Bakugo was at in that bar scene, where that black goo came up again and it teleported all of them to this real faculty that you office, scientist office, I guess you could say, as you see in my thumbnail. And there's a whole bunch of like superhumans in there that kind of look like half humans and half monsters. And Dabi notices these are like advanced versions of Namu, and we get to see a scientist saying, yes, these are my creation. I'm another, high-level friend of All for One. I'm his aide. I was his doctor, basically. And he was like, he was talking to them, and he told them, I don't like visitors, so as long as you stay far away from me and respect my privacy, then we're fine. And he also made up a fake-up name on the spot to give them, so they can call him by. So we don't really know his real name, but he does have a fake name that he gives them. But it is a very difficult name for me to pronounce, so I ain't bother writing it down, but I'm just going to call him Dr. Eggman, because that's actually what he looks like. He looks like Dr. Eggman. He's even on this flying vehicle machine that's like a seat. And another thing I want to talk about his design as well is that he looks just like the doctor from the beginning of the series. The doctor that told Midoriya that you're quirkless, he looks just like him. So maybe that theory of the doctor actually stealing Midoriya's quirk is actually true, because these two doctors look exactly the same. I was even seeing other people's comments and reviews saying that this doctor is him, and some are saying no, he just looks like him. So it could be either or, but the point of this ending here was he's going to try to help Shigaraki to become from this worthless 20-year-old to what All for One wants him to be, a great successor. So, and he told Shigaraki, what are you a 20-something-year-old gonna do? So now we know his age. Shigaraki is in his 20s. So I would probably say he probably like 24, 25. He probably most likely 10 years older than Deku. And Deku at this time, I believe he's like 14 or 15. So that would make Shigaraki somewhere between 24, 25. So they're 10 years apart, which makes sense since he is the grandson of Shikamaru, All Might's teacher, so the one who was the previous 2 generations where before All Might and Deku. But yeah, this was a very interesting chapter, seeing all those power-up Nemus that supposedly are close to Masterpiece. So I guess you could say they are a stronger version of the one that Endeavor fought a couple of chapters back. So, and we saw Endeavor struggled. He even got support with Hawk, and still they struggled to take out this one Super Namu. So if these other test tube Namus are even more superior, because they're the master versions, yeah, the heroes are going to have a lot of problems on their hands. I don't think number game is going to work on these things as powerful as they are. Not to mention that if Shigaraki can somehow manage to get that bodyguard, Machina, which is his parting gift supposedly, if he can find a way to make him bend his knee to him and get him under his control, things are going to be a lot worse. But the thing that intrigues me the most about this chapter was the doctor. Because like I said, you can tell from his character design, he was based off of Dr. Eggman. But he looks like the guy from the first episodes that chapter. The one who told Deku and his mom he can never become a hero because he has no quirk. There's been a fan theory for a while that doctor actually stole Deku's quirk. And that's why Deku doesn't have one. And since this doctor look exactly like him, and this most likely is him, does this mean that theory was true? That this doctor was stealing quirks from people? Because maybe what he was doing was, he would test all the kids at the age of 4 to see if they have quirks or not, so their parents could register them by law of what quirk they have. And maybe what he did was that after he examined them and see if they have a quirk, if they did have a quirk, he probably would see how useful, how strong it was. And if it was something to his liking, he stripped the child of it and then told the parents, oh, your child is unlucky. Maybe he was doing that as an underground type of thing, but while working in a physical hospital. So he was tricking the government while still working for All For One. Maybe that's how he got all these Namu's quirks, from stealing them from other people. Because if I'm not mistaken, I don't believe All For One, but I don't think he's the only one who can steal quirks. Just like how Ozawa is not the only one who has a quirk that can shut off all the quirks. We have to imagine that since there's hundreds of thousands of quirks out there in the world, that there's other types of quirks that do similar things. So, I mean, if you look at the last anime, I believe his name was Shiko, the one that Eri's dad. I always forget his name, but he was able to rip you down and take your quirk and fuse people. So maybe there's a quirk similar to that. I don't know. It's like there's so many different quirks and abilities in My Hero. It's like we don't know. I mean, or maybe he found a way biologically to steal the quirk from them. Maybe a certain injection could shut off your quirk and take that DNA away from you and give it to somebody else. Not to mention, it was brought up by Shigaraki that he wanted him to clone that bullet. The bullet that could steal away your quirk permanently. So if Shigaraki has access to both these powerful Namus, and he gets a whole bunch of those bullets, plus he somehow manages to get like that bodyguard under as well. If he can get all 3 of these things mass-produced under his control, Shigaraki is going to be damage control over the world easily. He's going to easily be able to have everybody out of his palms. And it might be possible since All For One is trying to build him up to be that next thing. So, even though I have a feeling that All For One is going to eventually break out of jail soon. Because, it was stated by All Might that Deku would one day have to face him. So I wouldn't be surprised if, like, somewhere down the line, he betrays Shigaraki after Shigaraki had built up his kingdom again. And he somehow betrays him and kicks him to the curb and takes over. And then he fights Deku. Because I don't see Shigaraki as the final villain for Deku. I'm sorry, I just don't. I think All For One, I believe he's going to be the final villain for Deku. Again, I could be wrong. Who knows, All For One could probably die in jail. Or just become a lazy character that does nothing and just sit in the background and just watch a student do everything. Who knows, it can go either or, but this was just my thoughts and opinions. But that's all I have for you guys. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, share with your family and friends. Give this video a like. Follow me on Twitter, link me down below. And tell me what you thought of this chapter of 221 of My Hero. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What did you find interesting? What were your favorite parts? What do you think Shigaraki's next step is gonna be, since he's in front of the doctor that he needed to make more copies of those bullets? And now he found out about these Super Namus that are like masterpiece versions. But tell me your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll catch you in the next one.